every other industry, organization, where there's people fulfilling a task, purpose together, there are numbers, right? Businesses, there's spreadsheets with...
We got metrics.
But it seems the one area where it's just generally acceptable to not have defined metrics is worship and tech ministry. You guys see that? In the environments you've been in?
I would buy that premise, yeah. You think it's just worship and tech, or you think it's church
We could talk about
volunteers in general?
We could talk about church volunteers in general. I think it's one of the same, but there's some nuance in worship and tech ministry specifically that I think we can dive into here.
Because I don't know that the parking team has a spreadsheet about efficiency of getting people in and out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
Some churches might.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some churches might say, we have this limited window between services, and this week we excelled because our parking lot was empty in this amount of minutes and left plenty of margin for new people to come in. Like, I could see how they would have some sort of numbers around that for sure. I don't know that many churches do, but it's interesting. Because we're in the worship and tech space, so that's what we would see. And I would say I agree with you for sure that we're deficient in our measuring. Because anytime lately that somebody has asked me to come in and evaluate their church or talk to their team or be a part of their service, 9 times out of 10, it has to do with we just don't have consistency. From person to person, from week to week, from service to service, we need to tighten up on consistency, consistent results. And there's no way to measure that. Because I'll come back to them and say, okay, well, how are you currently measuring? And it's like, well, it just feels different. It's a nebulous answer for the most part. So it's like, okay, is it just because every time so-and-so mixes, it's not as good? Or is it that the last 3 times that same person has mixed, it's not as good? Like, is it a person problem or is it a wider problem? And so how do we kind of build some guardrails around that to get some structure, to create a system to do exactly what you're saying?
Yeah. Do we think that just because a team is small means we don't need measurables? That's something I hear pretty often. Well, we're small, kind of handle it. We only got 3 or 4 volunteers. Like, don't really need a system for 3 to 4 people.
I mean, I would encourage that person to. I'd ask them some questions first. I would say, that's great. You only have 3 or 4 volunteers. That's not a problem. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? Well, I'd love to have 30 to 40 volunteers. Okay, then you need to start acting like that today. Start putting systems in place and start acting like you have 30 or 40 volunteers in your system. And that will require you to have some sort of goal, and not just a goal, but also action plans on how to reach those goals.
Yeah.
And through those action plans, you would have different ways to measure things.
Yeah.
How many guys and girls are we shoulder tapping in the lobby this weekend? Have a goal in place. That's more like, I'm a little confused by how you would measure, like what you said. I try to put myself in that person's chair that day. I'm acting like you're coming into my church, and I told you consistency is an issue. I do want to be educated on how you can measure that.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. So we're going to talk about 3 pillars. We'll call them the 3 C's to keep it cute. We've got quality.
That's not a C.
Yeah, it's a Q. We can pretend it's a C. Quality.
Eric, we talked about this. Why didn't you correct me then?
It does sound like a C.
It does sound like a C.
It's not. It's a 3C sound.
If you asked your 7-year-old how do you spell quality, he would probably say C, W, A.
I'm so glad Jeff is here.
And in fact, because
he would have been like, yeah, for sure.
Quality. That makes sense.
Somebody out there be like, these guys are idiots. No college
There's
degree
not even
here.
a C in the word quality.
I don't even know. I'm not certain I have a high school diploma. So, okay. Anyways, we'll just go. I still kind of want to call them 3 C's for the humor in it now.
Well, there is a 3 C's leadership
Sure.
terminology
Sure.
lesson.
Yeah.
You can just call it 3 cuz.
Yeah, the three cuz. Okay, quality. So skill, right? How good are you at your craft? And we can dive deeper into that. Consistency, like do you show up on time? Are you dependable? Are dependable? Are the services week after week? Is it a roller coaster of an experience, right? And then care. Are we taking care of our people? Are we shepherding them? We're going to focus on those kind of 3 pillars. Let's start with quality.
So is this conversation for the leader?
This is for a leader.
For the team member? For both?
This is for a leader.
Okay.
These are metrics that you may never tell anybody about. Okay, this is your own kind of personal barometer for your team.
Got it.
And this all would roll up to what we would maybe consider a excellence score or a discipleship score. Other churches, folks have their lingo, but like these would ultimately 3 pillars would roll up to an overall score, right? Most people use health apps these days. Apple Watch, a Oura Ring, a Whoop strap,
I've got
or
a
something
Whoop.
like that, right? And I do this with my sleep. I love when I wake up in the morning. One of the first things I do is just go look and measure. Okay, this is how I feel. I feel rested. I feel good, but I kind of need a source of truth too. Like I want to know, how did I sleep? And so I'm going to go and you got a sleep score of 87, and here are the things that go into that. Your heart rate variability, right? And these are very clear measurables. And so I know if I got poor sleep and it's because my heart rate variability was low. Oh, I didn't work out yesterday. Oh, it's pretty, okay, there's some correlation here. And I have actionables that I can go take to better my sleep. It's the same thing in leading a team in worship and tech ministry. And so when we look at, I want to talk about inputs that go into these 3 pillars. And this is going to be a brainstorming discussion, but the inputs that go into these 3 pillars that are actionable, that we can go, yeah, I can move that through my leadership of this team, right? So when we look at quality, and for you listening, like I would encourage you, while you're listening or even after, write this stuff down, get it in a spreadsheet and start like this. You could start doing this today, whether you are in a church of 100 people or a church of 1,000 people. You can start doing this today. And so let's look at the inputs of the quality score, right? What would help us determine the quality of our team? And these inputs can even be manual, right? They can be subjective from us on a week after week basis.
I think to some degree, not enough people have taken the time to actually define what their standard for quality is. In other words, like, what do we want our camera shots to look like? What do we want our color temperature to be? What do we want our, quote, sound of our church to be? That could be, what's the low end feel like? What's the mixed priority in terms of vocal presence versus band presence? Like, there's certain things that we just have to define for your environment, for your church, to be able to have a target in the first place.
Yeah.
So I think, because it's hard to measure excellence against something that's undefined. So I think quality has to start with, what would we consider to be high quality in the first place? And how well have we communicated that to our volunteers? Because if somebody is shooting at an undefined target, first of all, you have no way to evaluate it when you miss it, and you have no way to celebrate it when you hit it. So we have to define what those buckets are, and they can be simple. It doesn't have to be, a certain sort of target curve on a smart monitor for audio. It could just be, the level of the vocal compared to the level of the drums relative to the guitars. Like, okay, we've established that this is kind of our goal for sound. So did we hit that this week?
Yeah.
Does every volunteer know how to hit that? Have we trained in such a way that they can achieve that? Do we have a console file that is set up to be able to, make it easy for people to get there? Like, there's a lot of those kind of things that I think we need to kind of make some moves toward defining in the first place.
Yeah.
Agreed. Can't be gray. It's got to be black and white, and it's got to be very practical. especially when dealing with creatives and production people and worship. It's, well, what you're telling me I need goals, but I have no idea how to set a goal. What's a true north goal? It's what you're describing, but I've not even taken the time to build what that true north goal is.
Like, what does success look like for
Yeah.
every position on the team?
So that's probably going to be the start of a lot of our listeners, is figuring out what you just said, and then putting action plans in place that can be measured, so that we know we're moving the ball down the field. I think it's got to be black and white.
Yeah,
when it comes to goals.
I do think what can be hard for some folks too is that different environments have different, like you and I might have the same sleep score today of 85, but we got different quality sleep. We're different people,
Yeah.
right? We're different ages. We did something different. Yeah, all of that. And so I think it's the same thing in the church. One church could have excellent quality for what they're doing. And that looks completely different over here because they have different style of worship, different, right? So it's really hard to compare standards. So I think you guys are right. You got to figure out what your standard is of where you're
for
aiming.
our context, our community, as soon as you start comparing, it's like, if we go to a church and say, what do you want your church sound to be?
Yeah.
If they refer to, Elevation, Passion, Hillsong, Bethel, whoever as their standard, but their team can't get close to that standard, and whatever that is that makes them feel like that's the goal, it's like, no, you got to be honest and unpack some of that to go, okay, what is it about those things that make it appealing to you?
Yeah.
And then create, okay, how does that show up in our expression of faith? Like, how does that show up in our community? Because you may not have the excellence on your team to be able to pull off that stuff.
Yeah.
That's a different conversation. But like, what is it about those things objectively that we can say, okay, I want to hold on to this as a core component of what we're trying to achieve?
Yep. Yeah. So let's think about inputs that could reasonably move that needle once we have that clarity figured out of quality. And this is where I think a lot of people get stuck because, frankly, we're not really doing a great job training our volunteers in the church. We're just asking them to show up and execute the task, and then we judge the task and go, our quality is low. Hey, just so you know, quality is low. It's not actionable. What do we do with that?
Try harder.
Yeah, try harder. So it's like, so what are the clear markers? An idea I have would be like, you have a monthly team night. Did they show up? Did they show up to the team night? Because that could be a very clear indication that quality is going to go up if they show up to a training night.
Well, there could be disagreement there too, because you could come to me as the worship leader and say, as the pastor or a supervisor, and say, hey, worship isn't where it needs to be. We talked about it 6 months ago that it needs to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And I may go, well, it's definitely better. Put myself in a sales job working for a company that needs sales. As the CEO or the COO, the chief operation officer comes to me as a sales guy and says, hey, we need more money as a company. And I'm going, well, I sold 3 things last month. What do you need? I'm doing my job well because I'm bringing more money. No. We needed $2 more million in sales. Yep. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was that very measurable goal. So I think even with that question, hey, my responsibility was to have 35 volunteers at team night. That was the goal. Make it very black and white. Well, I had 15 there. That's a success. Well, I know, but the goal was 35.
Yep.
Make it a measurable goal, because if you don't, it's always going to be, I'm winning. No, you're not. Yes, I am. And I think that'll cause tension. So make sure, in my opinion, that everything can be measured and tracked.
Well, and people are always, they're feeling the outcome, right? They're feeling the outcome of their actions. So they go, oh, today didn't go well. And they want to point to something. And the purpose of these pillars for you listeners, to be able to look and go, oh, my quality score is really low. I don't have quality. That's the problem. I'm actually caring for my people really well. And here are the measurables that I have in place. I know I'm caring for them. I know they're consistent. They show up week after week. Ron is a faithful volunteer. He shows up to the team nights. I've got 95% attendance at the team night. My consistency is there through the roof. It's my quality. There's the right training is not happening. And I know that because they didn't watch that video I sent to them. Or they didn't do this thing you get what I'm saying? That
Yeah, totally.
structure in place. And so when we're talking about quality, it's what are the ways that we can increase quality in our people, in training them, right?
Yeah, because I think people forget that the results that we're getting are a direct correlation to the strategy and systems we have in place. In other words, your systems are 100% designed to get the results you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not getting the results that you want, you've got to change your system.
Yep.
And so I think this idea that if we don't change the input, somehow we're going to get a different output.
Yep.
We forget that sometimes. So yeah, we have to modify the inputs if
Yep.
we want a different output.
Yeah.
A real-time example, I'm helping a church, and they have been consistently going over like 20, 25 minutes every Sunday.
I bet their kids' ministry is real happy
Yeah,
about
I'm
that.
sure they love it. And I thought, I know there's probably conversations being had without me that service feels really long in the last couple of weeks. What are we doing to fix it? Well, my mind just goes, let me pull up Planning Center. Well, none of the times are put in on any song or any moment on stage. There's
So
preaching
nobody
times.
knows how long it's going
There's
to be.
one song that's got time. And I go, let's just start with adding your time into Planning Center and let Planning Center doing the work for you, right? It's a very black and white system.
Yep.
It's
Simple
got to be
math.
measured.
Yeah.
It's got to be measured. You can't just say, go be better.
Yep.
Or go care for people better.
So you're onto something here. So like let's brainstorm real time here. What are the things that will impact quality? Set list being put up on time. Like, or just thinking like line item, rows in a spreadsheet, check, right? Like, was it done? These are the things that will impact that quality. Was the set list put up? Like, were people properly resourced? That happens on a weekly basis. Were people properly resourced? If the weekend goes well and you're like, oh, this week I actually uploaded the set on Thursday, so I didn't do that to my normal standard of our system. Oh, that actually can maybe point to maybe why this didn't go so well. What are other things in that way? Like, what are other rows in that sheet for a worship and tech leader as they're leading their team?
Having a process for sound check and rehearsal. You
Yep.
know, having a systematized, time-based, okay, this is how much time we're going to allocate to getting our in-ears set. This is how much time we're going to allocate toward learning a new arrangement. This is how much time we're going to allocate toward run-through.
Yep.
And if any of those things get missed, like if you don't have time to actually run through transitions, and in your first service your transitions are clunky, that's correlated.
Yeah.
Like you've got to have, if you want better transitions, you've got to rehearse a cue to cue. If you want a better flow for your worship team, you've got to do some sort of run through. Yeah. If you spend all your time trying to figure out why your ears aren't working, it's going to impact everything downstream. So having some of those measurables to go, okay, did we do this? Check. Did we do this? Check. Did we do this? Check. Was it before 8:30 doors? Check. Okay, it's going to be a good week.
Yeah.
For the creative side of things, the communication side of things, I would say would be timeline and deadlines. Real-time example, we were given a last-minute video at an event we were doing, and it had never been checked. And we made it very clear to the client, hey, we're about to throw a video on these screens that our teams have not checked. Are you good with that? And they say, yeah, absolutely, throw it. We just got it. Well, at the end of that video, there was like a 32-second just black. But our ProPresenter, Resolume Op, or whoever is, I don't even know what software we're using then, is not giving me a countdown for out of that video because they still have 30 seconds left.
Oh, wow.
So the room is dead. And I think, in my seat as a producer, something has crashed somewhere. So it causes a lot of panic on my end. And then now we have the client that's going, what's next? What's next? Come on, guys. What's next? I'm going, I don't know. Video, what's going on? And the video up goes, or I'm sorry, the playback goes, we still have 20 seconds left on this video. And I'm like, clear it out. Go live on stage. Fade in, front wash. 3, 2, 1, go. Right? That would be a quality issue because of a lack of timeline and a lack of deadlines.
Yeah.
So that's from the creative standpoint.
Yep. Another way to think about it, I often think quality, a lack in quality is usually due to a lack of preparation, right? So we're thinking, okay, quality, if you're not satisfied through quality, look at how you're preparing your people, right? Training nights, resources, all that good stuff. Consistency oftentimes is just the inability to execute the routine tasks that we know are coming, right? So it's like loading the show file. Did you load the show file? Did you set gain structure properly? Like, what's the checklist? Did you do it? No, we're inconsistent. Some weeks we load a show file. Oh, that volunteer's serving. He just likes to load his last week's show file or whatever. We don't have a strong default there. Okay, that's inconsistent operations.
Yeah.
So if the service didn't go well, you're like, yeah, our people are super skilled. We just didn't execute. We didn't execute with consistency. And so it's interesting because like that situation, there's some bleed over here, right? Because there's the preparation of like, did we look at the video before Sunday or whatever? But then there's also it also got missed. Sound check went late. Well, that's a consistency issue.
Mhm.
And that impacted checking the video or whatever, right? There's lack of communication. Things are chaotic. Another consistency issue. And sometimes what's hard for me is people will talk about issues like that and they'll go, yeah, our people are just not skilled. We need more skill on our team. And I'm like, it's not a skill issue. It's a consistency issue. It's not a quality, and so verbiage is really important as we kind of lay these things out. But I think
But they are really, those two are interconnected in
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
Yep.
And it's easy to confuse them, like you're saying. It's easy to think it's a quality issue. No.
Yeah.
Or it's a consistency issue when it's really more about training and skill. And
I'm
Yep.
wondering if we could release a free resource, not to put pressure on the MxU team, and maybe I'll help you guys.
Hmm.
That's like the 3 circles, right? They kind of overlap
like a
each
Venn
other.
diagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like quality, consistency, care.
Yeah.
And have people fill it out and see where they're at. Circle it in and see, okay, we are leaning way more. We have great care, great quality.
Yep.
But our consistency's off, or vice versa. Because I think when you were saying I'm really good at caring for people as a leader, I can get all the people to the events, they all feel bought in, and that creates consistency. Well, yeah, of course, because they'll go to the front line with you any day because they know you have their back.
Yep.
So those are going to play hand in hand. But then on the
But
other
you
side,
don't train them, so there's no
yeah,
quality.
exactly.
Yeah.
So then on the quality side of things, it's like, well, we're lacking here.
Yep.
So how do we add that third bubble?
Yeah.
And then maybe put a chart in place. I don't know.
I've got a surprise at the end of the episode. Hang tight, because I like your idea. Now, another idea, and we kind of moved on to consistency. Again, quality, I think there's training resources. Are they in place? Set list going out in time. Like, what are your 5 things? What are the 5 inputs? Think about that. But that's kind of the lane we're swimming in there. Now, moving into consistency, another thing that I think we should be paying attention to, and this crosses over into care, it's kind of those bubbles overlap here, is they overlap when it comes to people showing up or accepting requests to serve. Are people consistently serving? Or is it like they take 4 weeks off, 5 weeks off, 6 weeks off? Man, that's driving down our consistency. Consistency for us is we want volunteers serving twice a month or once a month, whatever that is. Well, guess what? When people aren't serving, oftentimes that's due to a lack of care. They're showing up and because there's also overlap with care and quality, right? Are you caring for your people if you're not putting resources together for them? Well, let's talk about the scheduling thing for a second. We oftentimes, man, there's hilarious reels on Instagram and stuff of people not accepting planning center requests, and it's kind of like a thing in worship and tech culture now. Like, oh, could we just get them to accept on time? That should be an indication, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of our consistency as a team.
Very much so.
It's like, yes,
I'm like,
yes. Question answered.
Obvious things that maybe some aren't seeing is yes. If I get a planning center invite and my first reaction is, we have an issue, right?
For sure.
And unfortunately, that's a very common reaction probably with a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people who are currently serving in a culture that they dread opening up their junk Gmail account because there's going to be planning center invites in there that we just don't want to hit the green button on. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Is it because you're overserved, or you don't like your leader, or you doing something you don't want to do? You signed up to play drums 6 months ago, but you're still stuck on ProPresenter. Like,
Yeah.
what's the cause? I don't know. Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge indicator.
Yeah. So next time you've got open positions, people aren't responding. Figure out what those markers are. How quickly do you want an answer from them? Whatever. Set your standard, but don't just complain to your spouse about it or get discouraged. Go write it down somewhere and go, that's what happened this week. So I can look and go, oh, Sunday didn't go well. Yeah, I didn't have positions filled. Consistency. I've got a lack of consistency. People are not consistently serving. Okay, what can I do about that? Care, right? Like these things can be mapped together.
Mm-hmm.
There's things, the whole purpose is
And quality.
Yeah.
Because if they felt equipped, they would probably say yes more often. I think sometimes the decline button is because of a lack of confidence.
Yep.
Well, last time I did that, I missed a cue and I wasn't sure where this thing was and I hit that wrong button. I don't know if I want to do that again.
Yep.
If you step up the training, you step up the quality, chances are they might say, you know what, I can do that.
That's why I like these pillars because they overlap.
And
they have to exist together.
You may be lacking quality in how you care for people. You may be lacking quality in how you are consistent with people. You may be lacking quality in how you are trying to add quality to your, you know what I'm saying? Like quality can be in any pillar defined by any. I may have an incredible experience, the best there ever was. Millions of people watch me on Instagram. Our most recent podcast. But my turnover is 12 months of a volunteer, and I couldn't get a volunteer to show up to a team not to save my life because I have no quality in my care, and we're just a machine.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
A generation ago, Ford Motor Company, their big sort of phrase at the time was quality is job one. And it was a business school case study that when Ford focused on improving their quality, it was like a massive transformation for the company because they had gotten to the point where there were too many defects, too many rebuilds, too many recalls. Just it was a bad season for Ford. They ramped up their pursuit of quality, actually made it their national ad campaign. Sales went through the roof, and the Explorer and the Expedition, those vehicles, it was like, okay, F-150, but they had to make a fundamental shift in their approach to how they thought about quality.
And they still suck.
Well, I would agree, but
I like it. I like that.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Confuse the minds.
Confuse the minds. Okay, let's talk about care. Care is, I think, the lowest hanging fruit that most people do not consider. It's the thing that doesn't take hours of putting training resources together. It's a simple text message, right? So an example of care would be, what's the number of people on your team that you are going to reach out to on a weekly basis? What are some other ideas? I think team nights.
I think team nights are a thing. I think just a suggestion. I know that a lot of churches that I know of or that I work with have guidelines in place to serve in worship ministry. One of those is small group or group ministry. You're part of a group. You're actively in a group, which I love that. Be in a group with people you serve with on the weekend, musicians, production, build real relationships. I like the text message thing. I do have a little pushback on the text message thing because it feels like another checklist. It feels like we're lacking quality in how we care for people because it's just a checklist.
You're talking about something with more depth.
Yeah.
Something that's actually building deeper community.
Relationships, more, and try to be friends with those that you serve with and maybe even those that serve under you.
Yeah. Well, and it has to be purposeful. I guess the point in the text is like, what if you just made a point to give feedback to the people who served on the weekends? Saying, hey, thank you for serving. Great job. Something I noticed. It's a simple text message.
And to add to that, what if your church is large and you have 350 volunteers under your leadership, under leaders under you, but you want to every now and then care for that person that's under that leader, maybe ask them at the beginning of the year as a leader, maybe ask, hey, what's a word God's given you for this year?
Yeah.
The word is intentionality. Well, in March, because I have that written down as a leader, I'm going to text that person and just say, hey, for whatever reason, God put you on my heart. praying for that God's been able to use you this year and that you're being more intentional, that the word intentionalities, because they're going to know, because they're human, that this person's texting me because they feel like they need to text me. But then how do you make it personal?
Yeah.
Like I asked you 90 days ago what your word was, and you said intentional.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow back up with that and give depth to that text message than just texting, hey, texting, hope you're doing well, love you, hope to see you soon at church. To me, if I receive text messages like that, I'm like, good job.
You
brother.
also know how the sausage is made.
I do.
Yeah.
But to be fair, we're surrounded by tools that make that pretty easy.
Correct.
Reminders, notes app, automatic, like there are ways to automate some of this stuff that it doesn't, not to take away the authenticity of it, but to just remind yourself to do it. I think as a leader, sometimes it's like, oh, it's been how long since we've actually connected? Wow, I gotta take somebody to coffee. Like it's I think being intentional about your schedule as a leader to just put those markers in place to know, okay, I've got to check in with my guys because it's been way too long. So to use your phone, your computer, your calendar, whatever, to help nudge you along in that, I think is great.
Can I tell you an example? Caleb Willen served at Dylan's last event with him, and
He didn't serve, he got paid.
Either way,
He was a team
Why
member.
did I say that?
it
I'm
was
going to get berated. What lunch am I going to be invited to
it
next?
was Caleb's birthday, and Dylan went all day and all week without knowing that Caleb was working for him all day.
Had no idea.
No idea. Dylan was mortified.
I really
Did you know it was his birthday? Monday of that week? Yep.
I had no idea. And I texted him immediately and I said there will be payback on the next show. And that payback's coming in 4 days.
So don't be like Dylan. Just
Don't be like me.
at least know your people's birthdays.
That's right. And especially those that are serving on your team every weekend. Now, that was Caleb's first show with us, might I say, and his last. No, I'm just kidding. I don't mean to get on a soapbox, but if you're a
Soapbox
leader,
away.
if you're a leader and you're saying, I haven't connected with my team in a long time, you're not a leader. That's just my opinion. I'm gonna say it till I'm blue or red in the face. If you're a true leader of people, task and responsibilities and all that come secondary. Primary is always your people. Secondary is always your task. That's just my opinion. So I'm not necessarily saying that's not what you were saying or I disagree with. I totally agree with what you're saying. But to bring clarity to it, if you call yourself a leader in ministry, your people should always be primary and they should always be your focus. Every day you should wake up going, I wonder how my guys are doing. I wonder how my girls are doing. And then secondary should be, hey, planning center's not filled out. Audio doesn't sound good. Consoles aren't aligned, right? And I think we sometimes get those mixed up. I think
Love
we put
that.
40 hours, 50 hours into this, and we think that's what we should be doing as a leader. And ultimately it should be, hey, Caleb's birthday was on Monday and I missed it. Like, that actually hurt me. I was like, how did I miss that? Like, that's a huge deal. So I know it's a silly example, but that's the real-time example that
Yeah.
we use. So
Like in your roster of your team, like, do you have their birthday? Do you know their favorite snack? Do you know their kids' names?
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you know
Do you know their name?
their name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's like, just having a database of that kind of stuff
Mhm.
can help you just provide a matrix of, okay, even if you're a super task-oriented, sort of engineer-minded systems person, and the softer skills are difficult.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, well, create a system
Yep.
to help yourself remind yourself that not every interaction has to be transactional.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like, okay, wait, peanut M&Ms is what they really like. I can buy a box of peanut M&Ms.
Mhm.
Yep.
And next Sunday when they serve, hey man, I was thinking about you this week, and boom, day is made. Next time planning center comes around, green button.
Yeah, or a practical step in that to add to that is, I am deemed by title the leader of this ministry, but man, I know that I'm weak in those areas of leading people and being consistent with that. I am very consistent with my skills, and we're gonna have a great experience. Have that self-awareness to know that, and then go, who are 2 or 3 people on my team who do really want to focus on people development and care and make those your individuals who are
Yeah.
reaching out consistently to the team and making sure your teams are cared for, right?
good.
There's different ways to go about it. There's no like, I have to be this way or I have to be this way. You can still, we know several people who are the leader of the ministry that focus on these things that do it really, really well.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
they have 2 or 3 people on their care structure that are identified to lead people.
Yeah.
And it
good.
can be volunteers, 100%.
This is not a difficult task. It just takes the effort and the intentionality.
Yep.
There are some great free tools. Notion is a great tool you can use. You can use a spreadsheet, a Google Sheet, Excel, whatever tooling you're used to. We're not in a lack of tooling here. It's just a lack of intentionality. And if you're listening and you're like, I'm not a process person, well, it's time to become a process person. Like go take a master class on how to use a spreadsheet. Go listen to a few more podcasts that talk about this. We talk about this all the time at MxU, by the way. We've got an archive of podcasts you can go through and listen to develop this methodology. But the time is now. And I'd encourage you, lock yourself in a room for a couple days and figure it out. Don't let this drag out. The biggest mountain in front of you might be this.
Yeah.
And so make it go away. And you can. It really is not that challenging. We see churches do it all the time. You might just need a little help. You might need a little nudge. Maybe this is that nudge for you. The exciting thing is we have actually built this, which I haven't even told you guys this, but like quality, consistency, care. These are now measurables on the MxU platform that we've put in place. What's so cool is that we have quizzes, so we know what people are watching, what they're learning. We know when they're logging in to learn. We know everything about your training curriculum because that's being housed in MxU. So we know the inputs of your quality, consistency, integration and planning center. We know when they're serving. So we can tell when they're serving. We can tell exactly when they declined or accepted, how long it took them. We have a new feature now. By now, when this episode's out, you'll see we now have communication in MxU. So the ability for you to get signals from your volunteers, they can ask questions on videos. Oh, I watched this video and I had a question for you, Dylan. Could you help me out with this? That's a signal of care. Did you get back to them or not?
Mm-hmm.
And how quickly? And we can take all of that and boil that data up into this quality, consistency, care model that will ultimately give you a score. The 3 C's. And so
But the Q is silent.
the Q is it's a silent Q in the 3 C's. Maybe we should just spell it quality with a C. That'll really get people.
That would drive me bananas.
So all that to say, I'm very confident in it because we've built it at scale for a team of either 3 volunteers or 3,000 volunteers.
That's great.
It scales. And it's something that, unfortunately it's not free. Sorry, Dylan. We just put too much time and energy into it. It is going to be something
I'll
that
work
you
on
need
that.
to
I'll work
subscribe
on
to the
that.
MxU platform for. But all that to say, we've given you a lot of the framework here. You can build this with free tooling. If you're a part of the MxU community or an MxU subscriber, please jump in and see some of this that is now available to you.
This is a part of the subscription, though.
This is on the
yeah.
platform
Oh,
now.
it's great.
They're going to log. I can show
It's
you.
not an additional service.
No. I can
Yeah.
show you a wireframe right now. It's like literally they're going to log in just like
great.
in Apple Health. They're going to see the 3 circles. Oh, my care. What's going on with my care? Click in. Oh, I've got like so many volunteers who haven't served in like 6 weeks. I need to check in. And I can take action on that right here. And it's all. It really is like having a personal assistant for running your quality, consistency, and care on your team. So we're really pumped about it. Please go check it out. If you want to learn more, you can head to getmxu.com. Happy to jump on a call and show you how it works as well too. You can book demos there as well. Thanks for joining us and making it this long. We're rooting for you. We drop new episodes every Monday, so if you're new to MxU, stay tuned for more coming out from us here on YouTube or audio only. We'll see you next time.